What is going on, everybody? My name is The Rose, and it is Friday, February 2nd, 2018. This is Game Corner, podcast episode 5, part 1 for your Friday morning, Friday afternoon, whenever this gets uploaded. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Twitch. Links are in the description down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more gameplay videos and podcasts, possibly every weekend. Follow Black Sakura on Facebook, and follow the amazing Erin Fitzgerald, the voice actress of characters such as Naz and Noir and Chceck from Persona 4. All her links are also in the description box down below. So, Cypher, you said you had a story to tell.
Oh yeah. Okay, so today my roommate and I went out to breakfast rather early, and there's this local like cafe, but there's an EB Games just down the street from it, which is like our GameStop. So I've never been in this GameStop before, and I go in, and what do they have sitting on the counter but Sonic Mania Collector's Edition for Switch.
Interesting.
So naturally, I bought that, and so I get home, and I take all this, the shit out. Man, that Sonic statue's huge.
Yeah, what did you think of the
quality
quality of it?
Like a third the size that it is.
Yeah, what did you think of the quality of it? Because I thought it was a little cheap.
I think that Sonic himself looks really good, but I think the Genesis bits are really cheap.
Because it feels like I mentioned in my video, that if you were to put any kind of pressure on it, you could actually start to bend the Genesis stand.
The metal card, like the collector's card, came kind of bent.
Oh, that sucks.
As well. With just a little bit, just enough to notice.
Ooh.
And it took me a couple of seconds to actually get the Genesis card to slide out to get the ring. But anyway, this leads me into my story. So I got home. I managed to finally get the fucking ring out. And the first thing I do is I walk into my roommate's bedroom. He's on Discord playing Destiny 2 with his friends from back home. I get down on my knees and I propose to him on call, just to see what he has to say. And the first thing he does is takes the ring and hovers it over his crotch, and he's like, "I don't think it'll fit." I was like, "Yeah, it's too small. Your dick's too small for this ring."
Oh no! Oh shit! That's funny.
Yeah. So that's the kind of shit that I do on a daily basis.
So let me ask you a question. Did your collector's edition come with the instructions about putting the batteries in the Genesis stand and it makes noise?
No.
Yeah, neither did mine, so I had no idea it did that. I learned that by watching a YouTube video of someone else that unboxed it. So what did you think of that mock game cartridge, the Sega Genesis mock cartridge?
I think it would be way cooler. I think my roommate just left the kitchen, so I'm going to go back to my kitchen table. But it would be much, much better if the Genesis stand with the Sonic statue had a slot where you could actually put the Genesis card in it.
How amazing would it be if they actually modified that cartridge? And my freaking camera
to play Sonic Genesis,
yeah.
or Sonic Mania on the Genesis.
Yeah, to actually play Sonic Mania on the Genesis, exactly.
Well, one of my other roommates, he kind of he sleeps on the couch. He watched me unbox this, and he's like, "Does that actually play? Like, is that an actual Genesis card?" And I was like, "No, unfortunately, it's not."
Yeah, right. I mean, it looks so real.
It feels real. Like it's really chunky plastic. It's really well made. Like. They really kind of, for what I paid for it, I was very happy. Like, I was very pleased, because I don't know what it is American, but it's about the same price as, like, the whole collector's box is the same price as a PS4 game.
It was $70 American.
Okay, so it was like 80 for me, but with tax, no, it was like 90, but with tax it was like 100.
Also,
but it was still worth it, I think.
Sorry, folks, real quick, I had to readjust the camera, because for some reason it keeps falling over tonight. I don't understand why. Hopefully it's all good.
Try cursing at it.
So I got a story. I got two stories, actually.
Boy.
From last Friday night. Now, you know I went to that wrestling event
Yeah.
in my area. It was like 20 minutes away from my house. And the first story stems from the bathroom at the arena.
Oh God.
And
Bathroom stories are never good.
oh, this one's fucking great. Be prepared for a little toilet humor, because this is exactly what's going to happen. So, have you ever felt, like you've taken the best shit of your life in the bathroom?
Honestly, yeah, all the time.
Okay, so I'm in the bathroom, right? After I get to the arena area where they're doing, the wrestling. I put my jacket down, and it was 15 minutes before the show started. I told my mom, I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I got 15 minutes. I'll be right back. So I go to the bathroom, and I'm going about 10 stalls deep into this bathroom because I'm looking for the cleanest toilet possible.
Of course. As any smart person does when they use a public toilet.
And I start to sound like the raunchiest piece of shit in the bathroom. And I'm pretty much like taking the shit of a lifetime. And, I'm over here fucking grunting and groaning, fucking sounds of relief and everything. And I come out of the stall, going to wash my hands, and a guy comes out of the stall next to me, laughing his ass off. So I turn around and look at him, and he's laughing so hard, I don't know how it happened, but he slips, and he fell backwards right into the fucking toilet.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I couldn't fucking stand it. I was trying so hard.
Awesome.
I was trying so hard not to fucking laugh at him. I mean, I didn't want to laugh at him because it's fucked up what happened.
That does kind of suck, but that's hilarious.
It was fucking hilarious. And the second story is during the wrestling event itself. Me and my mom were sitting next to these two fucking punk-ass kids. Teenagers, so I don't know how they got into this place without their parents. They're literally like 15, maybe 16 years old, high school kids. And they're there, and they're trolling the entire section where I was sitting. Like, they were cheering and booing for the opposite wrestlers that the rest of us were cheering and booing.
Okay.
And they didn't start doing this until after we started making it known who we were going to cheer for and who we were going to boo. This one guy kept calling this one wrestler Post Malone, which I had heard that name before. Fucking people, those kids are really annoying. And it was getting to the point where they just kept fucking laughing because they thought they were cool. And like every time the one kid would say something, his friend would laugh. And I just wanted to strangle the fucking bastards.
Dude, I work security. You're preaching to the fucking choir.
So anyway, I don't remember what happened. These fucking kids, they're doing this shit, and the one kid, the friend, the one that's laughing, he keeps saying, like, making fucking stupid-ass remarks. He's like, people know this is fake, right? And, I don't know, I think you told me once that you used to watch wrestling, like, back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, you know how sometimes when the wrestler's, like, trying to make it look good that he's actually, like, punching the other guy in the face, and he's making kind of a hissing sound to, like, cover up the fact that he's actually not hitting the guy?
Yeah.
Well, it happened at one point in the match where the one guy was doing the hissing sound, and he's like trying to cover up the fact that he's not punching the guy in the face, otherwise he'd probably bloody the guy. So the kid points out again, he goes, he's making that noise because he's obviously not hitting him. So I'm like, are you fucking for real? Us wrestling fans, we're not fucking stupid. We know it's fake. But it's something we enjoy. Leave us the fuck alone.
Yeah, kids are retarded.
This continued for an hour straight. And it was intermission time. And these kids, they got up, I think, to get a drink or to get something from concession. And thank God they never came back. I don't know if they got kicked out of the building. I don't know if they just decided to leave because they were bored. Or if they just decided to sit somewhere else and piss other people off. But why would you waste $80 just to go to something and piss people off?
I don't know. Ask the kids at Canadian hockey games.
Because you know damn well that if you piss off the wrong person, that person will probably kill you.
Oh yeah.
So why would you do something that fucking stupid?
Well, kids unfortunately don't know any better, and if there's no if their parents aren't around, then like
I don't know how they got in without their parents. I understand the product.
That's probably why they didn't come back, is because they got kicked out for not having their parents with them or whatever.
Because I know, like, it used to be TV 14 back in the day, and these kids are older than 14 anyway, but the product is still labeled as PG. PG being parental guidance. They didn't have their parents with them, so I don't know how they got in the first place. Everybody had to empty their pockets, they had to show ID, and they got waved down with the metal detector wand, and I don't know how these two kids passed 3 levels of security to get into the freaking the gymnasium area where the wrestling took place.
Well, you see, Rose, fake mustaches and trench coats are getting better all the time. And if 2 kids stack themselves on top of one another and wear a good enough fake mustache, people might actually believe they're adults, even when they're actually just 2 little shits.
I mean, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that is so noticeable. I don't think that would have freaking flew.
No, it is. It's an old cliche.
You see it a lot in cartoons.
Yeah.
But,
BoJack Horseman does a really good take on it.
Yeah, so, that's my stories, happened over the past week. After those kids left, I finally got to enjoy the rest of the show that I paid my money for, that I almost got kicked out of, because I wanted to strangle those little fuckers. And then Saturday, I watched WWE NXT TakeOver Philadelphia, which was a fantastic show. Nice. Then the WWE Royal Rumble was last Sunday, which was a decent show, not as good as the TakeOver brand, or the NXT brand, I should say, but it wasn't bad. And and here we are for a new week of news, rumors, and a lot of video game talk.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So, speaking of video games, why don't we get into it?
Alright, so I guess the first and biggest thing on our docket is going to be that review that we were going to talk about. So, Dragon Ball FighterZ. I am not sure if I'm a Super Saiyan or a Salty Scrub Lord, but I'm one of the two.
So are you good at it, or do you lose more?
I'm okay at it.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, one day I'll destroy people, the next day I lose a lot.
Yeah. I found that, like, when I was playing casual matches, I was winning consistently.
Right.
For the most part. But when I was playing ranked, I was having, like... I think in ranked, I've only won, like, maybe 50% of my matches, or, like, 60% of my matches thus far.
Yeah, I would say I won less. Like, right now, I think I'm, like, 28. Or no, I'm 30 and 32 online. So...
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to look.
I am a Saiyan rank right now, which is the 4th ranking. I have about 153,000 something battle points.
Okay, yeah, you've played more matches than me then, because I've mostly stuck to casual.
So, what did you think of the game overall? Break it down by mode
okay,
and stuff.
I know I talked about this when we were talking about like how this was our most anticipated game for this year, wasn't it?
I
think
pretty much,
mine.
yeah, pretty much.
Like, I feel like it's the most accessible fighting game that I've ever played. As a longtime fan of fighting games, and especially of Arc System Works. But I also think that because it's really accessible, it's kind of loses a lot of the things that make fighting games great. Like, I'm not gonna say, get good, but what the game does, for the sake of accessibility, strips away a lot of options. Like, skilled players can chain together the options that exist. Like, you can, you can launch your enemy, jump, cancel, do like a 10-hit combo, super dash, and then tag in another character if your combo extends long enough, and do like a 30-hit combo, which is awesome. It makes you feel really good.
And then combo that into an ultimate if you have the option.
Oh, dude. Playing as Goku Black with that air super is fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You do feel like God when that shit happens. But the problem with that, though, is that I found that it's very easy for new players to get stuck in a rut. Like, I've fought guys who have sat back and spammed energy blasts and, like, Kamehamehas. I've fought guys who have done just... They'll approach your character with a super dash, or alternatively, like, super dashing is the only approach that they know how to do, which is a huge problem. But, like, even if you know what to do, to counter these problems, like, for example, if somebody spams energy blasts, you can just super dash through them, or, like, jump and dash over them. But if somebody super dashes, your only option, the only safe option, is to hit down and heavy. Because it has invincibility on overheads. Am I still coming through?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I thought I was having connection problems. But
No, I'm just sitting back listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's not really an issue, but I found that not many characters have attacks that break blocks. Like, they don't have, I guess the proper term would be mix-ups, where, like, for example, crouching block is too good, and blocking is too good. Like, if somebody blocks you, the only real option that I've seen is to wait until they try to attack you and then super dash into them. Because otherwise the delay between, like, your recovery animation and your enemy hitting you is too great.
Now I noticed I noticed that the crouching block blocks like everything. It blocks like your standard attacks, then your crouching attacks. It blocks super dashing, and it'll block pretty much anything, even ultimate attacks.
Yeah, which is weird, because in most other fighting games, what happens is you have, like, instead of light, medium, heavy, you have, like, low, medium, high.
Right.
And what happens is standing block is good against medium and high. And, like, all air attacks are considered to be high attacks.
Right.
But they're really weak against against low attacks, which are crouching. And then crouch block is really good against everything except overheads, against, like, high attacks. But in Dragon Ball FighterZ, I've noticed that either not a lot of characters have those high attacks, or crouch block doesn't actually get broken by them.
Yeah, as I've noticed that as well. In a lot of matches that I played online, there were some people that would just sit back, wait for you to super dash into them, and then they'd just uppercut you.
Yeah.
With the down circle, and then just air combo you, and just continue that for the entire fight.
Yeah,
and you pretty much can't do
have
anything
kind of
about
another
it.
complaint about not having a lot of options, and it's that, well, the technical term from Guilty Gear and BlazBlue is barrier burst. And what that means is that you're given basically 2 stock at the start of the match that you can use at any point to instantly interrupt your opponent's combo. So if you're getting comboed, like, a 30-hit combo, you can use this barrier burst, and it will negate their combo. Like, it knocks them away. And in FighterZ, there is no option for that, and in a game like FighterZ, where, like, one really well-executed combo can take off quite literally between a third and 3/4 of your health. Like, that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
There's no defensive option for that, like...
That's something I've complained about during the beta as well, because I've noticed that there's no way to, like, combo break your opponent.
No, exactly.
And that's a
problem.
problem.
It's weird, because this is all stuff, like the stuff that we've complained about so far, and a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about are things that they had in Guilty Gear or BlazBlue that they just didn't put in FighterZ, or that need to be patched into FighterZ very desperately. Let me see what else I have here. So yeah, I think that, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if those things were patched, I don't really think any character is OP. Like, I think the balance is really, really good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, extremely. I think that, you know, characters are more accessible to new players than others. Like, Goku's really accessible, Goku Black's really accessible. I find Hit is very, like, not accessible to new players because he's, like, beast on the ground, but he fucking sucks in the air.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Like, if your feet are touching the ground, you're in Hit's world. He's gonna fuck you up. But the second that Hit gets into the air, it's like, well, I better use the same bread and butter combo that I learned 20 minutes ago in practice mode. Or I better tag into Goku Black and start, you know, using his bread and butters. But that's really, like, those are the main negatives for gameplay for me. I do have some other stuff that I want to talk about with, like, Arcade Ladder and Story Mode and the presentation stuff, but I want to see, like, do you have anything else that you want to talk about with regards to the gameplay?
I want to know what you think about the whole summoning Shenron aspect of the game, because...
I've done it twice.
Because the way to get the Dragon Balls is you have to spam the square, 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 square combo just to get to get the Dragon Balls. And obviously, if you're doing that, it's so predictable your opponent knows what you're doing.
Well, that actually brings up a really good point about auto combos, but I'll address what you just said first, and it's that I've only used the Dragon Balls, I think, 3 times, if I'm not counting the tutorial. And one of them was by accident.
I tried using it. See, I got all the Dragon Balls like 2 times during a fight, and then I inputted the same combo again. That's how you summon the dragon. And for some reason, he wouldn't summon. And I was looking...
You need to have 7. You need to be maxed out on energy.
Oh, you need to have 7
bars. Your super meter needs to be at 7.
Oh, shit. See, I didn't realize that. Yeah, but as far as the gameplay goes, other than, like, the bit of broken mechanics that the game does have, like you said, I think the balancing is really good for each of the characters.
Yeah, I want to bitch about auto combos for a second, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this is going to be me as, like, the crotchety old man who's telling all these new kids to get the fuck off my Street Fighter cabinet and, you know, let me school some bitches with Fei Long. But auto combo is the devil. Auto combo is a fantastic tool for new players. Auto combo evens the odds when a new player goes up against somebody who might be more skilled than them. But not only does Dragon Ball FighterZ have 2 auto combo systems.
They have 3.
Right? Oh, it is I guess technically it's 3, but I would consider doing like a launcher with a heavy attack and then chasing them, that's fine.
I mean, but it is, you can make a combo out of it, and then you could turn that into an air combo too.
Yeah, which is typically what I do, but anyway. I think that's fine, because I think that, like, if I'm going to launch you, I'm probably going to super dash anyway. Because more often than not, the launchers will launch characters too high for a jump cancel. In my experience, that's what tends to happen. But the thing is, auto combos do a lot of damage if you were to test out the auto combo compared to, like, an equivalent combo that requires more skill and better timing, they do almost the same amount of damage, and I think that's a problem. I think that the in BlazBlue and in Guilty Gear, auto combo can be turned off. Last I checked, which is not the case in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Right, and it seems like they made that like one of the main features of the fighting.
They really did, because the Dragon Balls, you have to hit your opponent a set number of times. I can't remember how many, but it's a lot. Or alternatively, you have to hit your opponent with a square auto combo. Or for Xbox players, I guess it would be X, but you have to hit your opponent with an auto combo using light attacks.
And those light attacks add up, though, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Like, a friend of mine is really, like, he's really salty about fighting games. Like, he gets, like, he and I discuss fighting games a lot, but he is, like, he's really good at them. He's just super salty about balance and stuff. So we're talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ because he has it as well. And that was the only complaint that he really had, was that a square auto combo, if you do like a super and then you tag in one of your other characters, it does about the same amount as a combo that incorporates like a vanish and all these other advanced techniques that require actual timing and like wall bounce and stuff like that.
Right.
And I think that's a problem. Like, I think they either need to scale down the damage that auto combos do compared to if you were to like execute them normally, or compared to other combos, and lessen the requirements, the number of hits that you need to get a Dragon Ball, so that people aren't spamming auto combos if they want to get them. Which is fair, because I think, like, the Dragon Balls, like, whatever, man. No, I've never seen anybody try to summon Shenron.
Yeah, somebody did it against me, so.
Oh, that's bullshit. What did they wish for, immortality?
It's whatever the circle one was. I don't remember what it was.
I think that one's like, it's either revive my character or maximum power, which gives you 7 super meter.
Yeah, I think it was maximum power.
Yeah, like, I just think that you need the ability to turn it on and off.
Now, can I ask you, what's the point of being able to charge your key meter? Because 99% of the time your opponent's not going to let you do it.
That's a really good question. I think that the purpose of it is, like, it's meant for, if I had to guess, what happens is, like, you launch your opponent into the air, you keep that combo going, and then you land, but your opponent is still in the air. They're knocked back. They do an aerial recovery. It takes them a couple of seconds to land, and you get in, like, a really brief key charge. Like, I don't think the point is that you're going to be charging up all 7 super gauges at once.
Because I find myself hardly using it at all, to be honest.
Me neither. I don't use it very often myself. Alternatively, you could start charging up and then use your assists to cover you.
Right.
Instead of tagging in, which, I gotta be honest, I find I don't really use support attacks all that often, because it's much better to tag in and then continue a combo.
Right. And if you're in a tough spot and you use an assist, then you gotta wait for that character's, like the timeout gauge or whatever to go away so you can tag them in. And if you use both of your assists...
I've had that happen to me so many fucking times where I've tried to change into, like I'm playing Goku Black, and fucking... I guess one of the only characters that I really have trouble fighting is Hit, because he's so good on the ground.
Yeah.
So, like, Hit just takes off, like, 90% of my health, and I'm like, oh shit, I better tag into, like, Team Gohan or Super Saiyan Vegeta. So I try to, and then I end up getting a fucking assist and get KO'd.
Yeah, see, I've noticed that's a problem. Like, because in the tutorials it teaches you could do, like, quarter circle forward, L1 or L2 to tag your character in, or you can hold the button down to tag your character in. But,
or you can press right in the button to tag your character in.
But I feel like sometimes in a pinch that doesn't work. Because I find myself holding the buttons down and I'm not tagging and I'm getting my ass kicked in the corner or on the edge of the screen, and I can't do anything.
Well, I think part of that is that you need to be, to my knowledge, you need to be, like, not being hit, and you need to be, if you're in the middle of a combo, you can't use, like, you need to wait for the recovery period for your super dash to end.
I mean,
I'm not entirely sure how true that last one is.
I've found that, so many times I'm trying to switch out my character and save my character, especially because I consider my entire team, a pretty formidable team. And when I'm trying to save one of my characters and I'm trying to desperately switch out and I'm, like, stuck in a combo and I'm getting beat up at the edge of the screen and it's, like, nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, it's complete nonsense. And that goes back to that, like, touch of death thing that I talked about, too, where you don't really have any options, like, defensively for combo breakers and stuff. Like, on the bright side, though, I will say, having played a lot of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it's better than that, because in Ultimate Marvel, what happens is your opponent defeats one character, and then they jump up and intercept the other character as they come in and keep comboing.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Which is terrible. Like, at least Dragon Ball FighterZ, instead of having traditional rounds every time one character is declared down, there's a little intro thing that plays and the characters are reset.
Yeah, it's like they clash into each other.
Yeah. That kind of brings me to my next point, though. I think that there should be a one-on-one fighting mode.
Absolutely.
Or, like, a way to either have one-on-one and two-on-two.
Give the players an option.
Or give the players an option to, like, you're going to fight me with 3 guys. Okay, I'm going to go in with Goku Black, but he's got, like, 3 health bars instead of 1.
I mean, because in the story mode, it's like that. Because in the story mode, it's like that. Sometimes you'll face 1 character with 3, or you'll face 2 characters with 3, or there's one point in the story mode where you have 2 characters and you have to face 3.
Yeah, and I was playing around with story mode recently, and I managed to fuck up and have a team that was literally just Vegeta, and I was like, why isn't this a thing? And that's kind of what got me thinking about it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely room for improvement for this game.
Definitely.
Speaking of the story mode,
oh god,
it feels lacking, to be honest. I mean,
the way I would describe it is like most other games have survival mode, where you go through the roster completely at random, and you fight until you run out of HP, and you recover a little bit after each match. Whereas in this, it's map-based. And I don't like that. It's very boring. It gets really repetitive really fast.
Sorry, if you hear that airplane in the background, there's an airplane currently going over my house right about now.
I can't hear it, so...
The one thing I can say about the map thing is it kind of feels like a tribute to Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 back from the PlayStation 2. How that whole game was kind of like played on a board game type map system, where you would move your character across the board, and when you stepped on a space that had an enemy character on it, you fought that character.
Okay.
That's like the only thing I liked about the map feature of the game. As far as the whole clone thing, and we're not going to like spoil the game too much. But it just feels repetitive and slow because you fight the same ones over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's like where are my clone versions of like Beerus and Hit and Majin Buu? I don't think I've fought a single clone of Majin Buu, like just normal Majin Buu.
And I like the idea of like the character you play as like a soul that takes over the characters to give them the ability to fight after what happens. So I think that's a cool little thing, and
yeah, that's really neat.
I like that. I like how the story mode, during the cutscenes, if it looks like you're watching like pieces of an actual episode of the anime.
Yeah, and I know you haven't finished all of story mode.
No, I'm only about halfway through.
I have. I finished all 3. Because there's 3 different arcs in story mode.
Right.
And I will say that I know before we went live, you said that you thought that it was a little bit fanfiction-y.
Right. It feels that way, you gotta admit.
It definitely feels that way, but that's because, like, any what-if story always feels like fanfiction. On the other hand, though, this fanfiction is really fucking good fanfiction. Like, I don't think that there's a single... at least, in my opinion, there aren't very many moments in the story mode that I can think of that feel out of place for Dragon Ball.
And I gotta say that, for once, it's a Dragon Ball game that does not rehash the fucking story saga by saga by saga like every other game has.
Yeah.
Because I got so sick and tired of that formulaic nonsense. That this felt really good, even though it does get repetitive and boring after a little while, and you just like want to just end it and get it over with.
Well, it's fresh. It's something new.
Right. Like, it's something new.
Over the course of my life, at this point, I think that if Raditz was a real person, I could beat the shit out of him because I've beaten him 100 fucking times and probably more.
Speaking of, I'm going to get to that when I talk about the roster.
Yeah. Actually, the only other thing that I had to say about like story mode and more specifically arcade mode is that arcade mode feels like a chore and like it's watered down, and the reason that is so in Marvel, in Ultimate Marvel 3, what happens is you make your team of 3, you run through the arcade ladder, which I believe is chosen at random, and then whichever character KOs Galactus gets the ending.
Right.
In BlazBlue and Guilty Gear and Street Fighter and most other fighting games that are one-on-one, instead what happens is you select your character, and then there's like, you know, you'll fight like certain random opponents from the roster on, say, like match 1, 3, and 5, but then matches like 2, 4, 6, and 7 are story events for the character's arcade mode. And I think that the way Dragon Ball FighterZ handles its arcade mode feels very lazy.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't care that there are no arcade endings. Like, that's not really a big deal to me. What is a big deal is that there are 3 arcade ladders.
Technically 6 if you shoehorn in the hard modes.
I'm not going to count. No, I mean like for layout. In terms of like number of matches and layout, there's really only 3.
Right.
And if you perform consistently, like consistently well or consistently bad as you go through the matches in the arcade ladder, you're going to fight the same guys every time.
Yep.
And I think that's really shitty. Like, if you're going to have an arcade mode, just have me fight 7 random teams. Or at least give me the option to do that.
And have you noticed that every time you go into arcade mode, the ladders never change? They're the exact same every time.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I just said. Is that if you perform the same way every time, like let's say, you know, like I do... I'll give you an example. Is if you do the Snake Way course, which is 3 matches and it's the easiest arcade ladder, and you get like A or S ranks on the first 2 fights, you will always fight, I believe it's Goku Black, Kid Buu, and I want to say Cell.
I think it is Cell.
Yeah, you'll always fight those 3 opponents if you perform consistently well, and that's really boring. Like, I kind of get it, because I know... Like, you've played, like, classic Mortal Kombat, right? Like, on the Super Nintendo?
Love Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, like, those games had, like, set arcade ladders, too.
Well, there was some randomness to them. It was like the last 3 or 4 fights, though, that were always the same.
Yeah, where you fight, like, Goro, Shao Kahn, that shit.
Yeah.
I guess. But, like, there's no element of randomness. And that's why I think that ArcSys really needs to patch in. I think what needs to happen is they can keep the ladders as they are. That's fine. But I want a mode specifically where I can go in and just be like, I want to play an arcade match, but I want to play 3, 5, or 7 straight matches while I wait for my online match to load. And I want them to be random opponents every time. I don't care what the teams are.
And obviously you always want to do as good as possible. You know, you don't want to tank on purpose just so you can fight different opponents, because that's stupid.
Exactly. Like, I think the only times that I've had that I had fought like different opponents were I did the hard mode version of the 7-match arcade ladder, like the hyperbolic time chamber, and I started to tank really bad around like match 5, so I fought 2 different opponents than usual on 6 and 7. But, like, that's 2 matches. Like, the other 5 were just the same guys. It's like, okay, when I start off fighting Goku and Trunks, and I think it's Team Gohan, maybe? I can't remember. Yeah, when I start off fighting those 3 guys, it's like, okay, I'm going to dash forward, and I'm going to hit Goku with a crouching medium attack and launch him into the air. And do this and this. Like, it's the same match. It's very textbook.
So, going back to story mode real quick, what do you think of how, each like map fight when you're fighting the clones has the tutorial thing on each fight where it wants you to do all the tutorial stuff like you would do in the battle training area.
I think that's really redundant.
Yeah, that kind of annoyed the hell out of me because it also changes how the AI plays.
Yes, it does. Like, I think it's a good idea to some extent, but I also think that, like, okay, when I started playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, the first thing I did was go to the tutorial and play through all of the tutorial.
Right, which there are 12 of.
Which, there's 12 of those fuckers, yeah, like... So, I played through the 12 tutorials, and then I went into story mode to see what the deal was with that. And those enemies don't even fight back.
I heard it starts to get hard, like, right around towards the end of the second arc.
It does, yeah. But because there are no more tutorial fights and the enemies start becoming tougher. That final boss is fucking ridiculous. It does so much damage. Like, in the third arc, especially, it does so much damage. It's ridiculous.
Sounds like an interesting fight.
Part of the problem with that is that, like, I'll give you an example. I kind of played story mode on autopilot. And I came to the one tutorial where it's like you have to super dash through your opponent's ki blast. So I was fighting Trunks as Goku. And Clone Trunks kept using his ki blast. And I was, like, unable to recover from it. Not because, like, it didn't kill me, but I was unable to react to it until I realized what was happening. So I think that what needs to happen is either they need to like, do away with the tutorials in story mode, which would be the optimal solution, I think. Or they need to... Like, some of those are combo challenges.
Right.
But most of them aren't. So they need to either do away with the ones that aren't, like, challenge maps, or they need to be like, hey, these first couple of maps are just going to be tutorials. Would you like to do them? Yes or no? I know in Guilty Gear or BlazBlue, one of the first things that they do is when you boot up the game for the first time, it's like, hey, are you new to this? You should play the tutorial. And it's not intrusive after that. Like, once you dismiss it, it's gone. And there's nothing else tutorialized.
But with this game, it just keeps fucking egging you on. Like, yeah, we know you already did this, but just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it. It's like a teacher in high school. It's like, I don't care if you got a piss. I'm not going to rate you a hall pass.
Speaking of the tutorials, what did you think of the character combo tutorial challenge things? Each character
which ones are those?
Each character had 10 of those.
Oh yeah, dude, I think some of those almost all of them are really easy. Especially, to continue comparing it in BlazBlue, there's 20 of them, and after, I think it's combo number like 6 or 7, they become really fucking tough. And they are kind of the same thing. Like, some of them are in the vein of, like, just do a special attack. Just do one of your supers. Just do this. Just do that. Because they're meant to teach you how to play the game.
Right.
But then you get into the really absurd shit where it's like, do a combo that does 10,000 damage. And that's usually, like, the last combo. Is like, do a combo that does 10,000 damage. Whereas in Dragon Ball, I think that most of them are really easy.
Except for, like, the last one for every character.
See, I've only had difficulty with, I think it's Yamcha, Hit, Cell. I think that's it. Emphasis on think. And speaking of which, Yamcha's a fucking beast.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm like, wow, he's actually decent in this game.
Fucking Lord Yamcha.
Yeah, people are going
Yamcha
around
just
with that.
gathered all 7 Dragon Balls, and he's like, make me a good character.
I mean, the guy got shit on for, like, ever, so...
Did you know, apparently, right? You know those dramatic finishes?
Right.
If you set it up for, like, the Yamcha Nappa one, but you do it as Yamcha, he bats the Cyberman away, and Nappa's the one who does the death pose.
I haven't seen that. Speaking of the dramatic finishes and the dramatic intros and outros for the fights, I think it's really cool how, depending on the character lineup, like, it'll play out like a scene right from the anime.
I really like that. Like, I've looked at all of them so far.
Like, when you pair up Frieza versus Krillin, it'll show... Oh, no, I'm sorry, Frieza versus Goku. It'll show, like, Frieza blowing up Krillin and Goku getting pissed and going Super Saiyan. Straight out of the anime. Really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. The only complaint that I have, and it's such a fucking minor gripe, there's 2. One is I wish there were more of them. I really do. And 2, which I think is a little bit more important, is for those dramatic finishes, the only way you can do them is to perform a neutral heavy attack on your opponent. And I wish that, like, as an example, if I'm playing Teen Gohan versus Cell, and I hit Cell with the Father-Son Kamehameha, like the level 5 version of that, I want it to play out still like a scene from the anime.
Right, yeah, and it kind of does.
That's what I want. I want to be able to activate those using the super if it's the same super.
Speaking of supers, I kind of like how, at least, I know this at least for adult Gohan, I like how his ultimate looks depending on your character lineup. Like, if Super Saiyan Goku is in it, and he's alive on your team, he'll show up in the attack with Goten. Like, again, straight out of the anime, because they did that. He did that same move against Broly in the second Broly movie.
Yeah, and if you're 18 and you've got Krillin on your team, he replaces Android 17 for her super.
Right, and if you have Gotenks on your team with adult Gohan, then Goten will not be present in Gohan's ultimate attack if you have Gotenks on your team. So I thought that was pretty unique, like a little attention to detail there.
Oh, definitely. It's really cool.
And I like some of those little quips at the end, like at the end of a match when you win. Like, for instance, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, he'll say, like if you have Rose, Goku Black on your team, he'll say, Goku Rose, huh? How pathetic that you have to impersonate Kakarot. And when I first heard that, I fucking laughed. Because I thought it was
pretty great.
And I liked how, like, every character has, like, these little quips that they take little shots at their teammates. Like, it's great.
It's really good, and the character interaction and story mode's really good, too. Like, there's a couple that really stand out to me, like, if you fight the Ginyu Force in story mode, I think if it doesn't matter if it's the clones or not, as it's adult Gohan and Krillin. Krillin makes a comment about how, like, Gohan was probably inspired by them to become the Great Saiyaman and do all the Sentai shit.
Right.
Which is really good. Or if you take Nappa and Cell to fight against Vegeta, Nappa makes some comments about how, like, he doesn't need to be a Super Saiyan. Which is just great, because Cell fucking just destroys everybody. It's great.
Like, I remember, like, one of the quips towards Goku, if Cell and Goku are in the same team, and Cell finishes the match, he'll say to Goku, he goes, "You know, Goku, I'd much rather have you as an enemy." It's like...
Oh, damn.
It's great. It's fucking fantastic.
Fucking
great. So, speaking of other areas of the game, what do you think about, like, the lobby and how the lobby's structured? Because there's, like, 2 areas that, like, have absolutely nothing to do right now. Like, the Kame House is there, and West City, and there's absolutely nothing to do there. Do you think those are reserved for, like, DLC?
I think what's going to happen is one of them is probably going to be like survival element that, and the other one might be. That's a good question.
Because I noticed that because you remember in the beta they were blocked off, and now that they're open and there's those two areas still have nothing to do.
I never got a chance to try the beta, so
yeah. See,
I had it, but the networking problems were too much.
Yeah, see, the beta, everything was closed off except for the battle training area. But now, obviously, in the full game, that everything's accessible, but the Kame House and West City still have absolutely nothing to do. They're just there, and I don't understand it right now why.
I'm assuming either a patch or DLC, but the way I feel about the lobby is it's really good. It's really nice that, kind of like in Guilty Gear, you can search for an online match while you're playing the arcade ladder, and you can do the same thing in BlazBlue. And you can do that here, but like, it's kind of shitty that some of the network functionality doesn't work. Like, ring matches don't work. It just got patched today. Ring matches still don't work.
Yeah, ring matches
Arena
don't
match
work.
has only worked once for me.
Yeah, that's a problem. Like, Arena and Ring, they're the worst.
They're really bad. Like, apparently, this may or may not be apocryphal. Like, it may or may not be true. But, so I was watching Super Best Friend Cast on Monday when it came out. And they were talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ, and apparently they received word from someone that this person fought the number 1 ranked person on FighterZ, and they rage quit when it looked like they were going to lose. But apparently there's no penalty for rage quitting.
There isn't, and it pisses me off. I can't tell you how many times I've been robbed out of my wins and my fucking battle points, because after you beat somebody, and right before the game cuts to that ending cutscene, before the battle point screen shows up, they still have a chance to rage quit. And I noticed that in this game, like, how in most other fighters, you just press the start button and you quit match?
Yeah.
In this game, you have to literally close out the game itself to rage quit, because just pressing the start button doesn't do anything. Which is a nice touch.
You have to hold it down in certain modes. You have to hold it down, but I don't think you can actually pause it mid-match.
Yeah, because I tried the rage quit for the hell of it, and I couldn't do it. And, I only tried to do it once just to see if it was possible, because I noticed that other people were doing it. Speaking of the lobbies now, when you get into a lobby and your lobby ends up being full, have you noticed that every time someone tries to join, it actually kicks somebody out of the lobby to let that person that's trying to join get in sometimes?
I have, and I've noted, like, I haven't had the game disconnect me mid-match, but I've been disconnected from my lobby at least once per session because of that.
Yeah, I've actually been disconnected mid-match a few times.
Really?
I'd be like, okay, well, this person rage quit. And then after I get back to the lobby, then the next message would pop up. You've been disconnected from the lobby. I'm like, well, that's why my match disconnected.
Well, I think the reason they do that is because the expectation is that if you're not playing in the actual lobby, like if you're not playing ring matches or arena matches, the expectation is that you're going to keep playing until you find an online match. And so they don't really expect you to return to the lobby all that often.
Right. I mean, it just sucks that you can get disconnected mid-match. And it really sucks when you're actually doing good and you're winning.
Well, I think what they need to do is they need to really expand, like, the lobby size.
Yeah, I mean, 64 is a decent number, especially when there's hundreds of lobbies in the game itself, which is really nice. But maybe if they boosted it to, like, maybe 100 people per lobby, I think that would wane down on the troubles.
Mm-hmm. Or what would be really great is if, like, let's say I'm playing an arcade match and I decide, oh shit, well, I'm tired of playing casual matches, I'm going to go to ranked. then I quit out of arcade mode, and it's instead of that message popping up, it's like, you've been disconnected from your lobby. It instead says, like, you were disconnected from, whatever the lobby is. We have reconnected you to lobby whatever. Like, to an available lobby.
Right, it doesn't do that. It just boots you right out.
I don't know how feasible that is, because I'm not a coder. Like, I don't know how that network and stuff works. But I don't think it's too hard to try to get you to join the next available one.
Because I heard that's what part of that maintenance was for, and apparently, according to you, it didn't fix a damn thing.
That's me and a friend of mine, so, like, I don't know. It might have been fixed.
So, there's a couple more things in this review I want to go over.
Okay.
The first being the loot box type system, which, thank God, it doesn't affect the game as a whole.
It's innocent, it's just cosmetics, and it's all in-game currency.
Right. And it's not that bad, that's why I don't mind it. And we're going to talk about loot boxes again in this episode in a bit. But you could buy one capsule for 1,000 zenny, or you could buy 10,000 capsules... Or, I'm sorry, 10 capsules for 10,000 zenny. And it's, it's like a loot box gotcha system. Your draws are random. You can get duplicates or you can get new stuff. A lot of games, like, if they're going to do loot boxes, I think they should do it like that.
Yeah.
I think they actually, like, came up with a good way to do loot boxes while not affecting the game itself.
Yeah, Guilty Gear does something really similar where instead of having, like, a shop, there's, like, a menu option that says fishing pond or something. And when you go to that, you get the option of, like, hey, you can spend your in-game money for, like, lobby icons and stuff like that. But Guilty Gear doesn't do it nearly as elegantly.
And the only other thing my only other gripe about this game a bit is the roster. And what I mean on the roster, there are 24 characters, which I think is a pretty good size for a fighting game. But now we have 2 Gokus and 2 Vegetas, and both of them play almost exactly the same. And then there's characters, like, I understand, you have your basic characters like Tien, Yamcha, and Krillin. You have 2 different forms of Majin Buu, which I think they should have just kept Kid Buu and got rid of Majin Buu. That's just my opinion. You have Teen Gohan and Adult Gohan, which is fine because they play differently.
And so do the 2 forms of Buu. Honestly, like, I don't play either of those characters. I don't really give a shit about them.
Right.
But to my knowledge, they play different enough. Like,
right. I mean, they do have some similarities in that they have the candy thing.
Yeah.
But that's just like a feature of
so
the
does Android
characters.
21. But Android 21 has some gimmicks of her own.
Yeah. Now, a character like Nappa, like, I think he feels out of place because, like, for one, I don't ever see anybody use him, and I think there's, like, a better choice character that they could have put in place of him. Like, they maybe could have put in
Raditz. Put in Raditz, Bardock, anybody. Anybody but fucking Nappa.
Right.
Why do people like Nappa?
Right, like, put in Bardock or Broly, even. Where the fuck is Broly?
DLC, probably.
That's what I'm thinking, but, like, it kind of annoys me that they could have maybe picked a better character than Nappa.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand that character at all.
My only complaint about the character roster in Dragon Ball FighterZ is that, like, it's not even a complaint about the roster, it's a complaint about the combo system and how it works with the roster. And it's that in Guilty Gear, a lot of the characters have very distinct playstyles. And in BlazBlue, a lot of characters have not only unique playstyles, but unique gimmicks to go along with their playstyle. So, like, I'll give you an example with BlazBlue, is that one character, he can straight up just basically summon a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and fights with that, and that's like a gauge that's tied to his character over his super meter that can be toggled on and off, and it gradually depletes when it's on. And he can use that to, like, use different specials and different normal attacks and stuff. It's really cool. But there's nothing like that in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And that then, on top of that, with regard to fighters, is that there are a couple of universal combos that work for every character. Like, you can do, like, light, medium, launch with crouching heavy, and then chase them into the air, light, medium, jump again, light, medium, and then tag in. Or if you're playing as Vegeta, you can use his, like, his consecutive energy blast special, and then tag in.
Yep.
So, like, that sort of shit, it's universal. So, as a direct result of that, it's like, it kind of strips away some of the personality that these characters have, on top of the fact that some of them are clones of each other.
So, the game's going to have 8 DLC characters, which is going to expand the roster to 32 fighters.
Okay.
And it's already been leaked that Cooler is going to be one of the DLC characters.
Okay.
There was a data miner that went into the game and found a file with the announcer saying Cooler's name.
That's pretty rad.
So he is highly believed to be one of the 8 DLC characters right now.
So what I'm hoping is we get what I want. And bear in mind that what I want is probably not what we're going to get. Is I would like to see Cooler, Bardock, Broly, for sure. I'm just trying to think of, like, what other characters I would want.
Zamasu, maybe.
I haven't seen enough Super to really care about Zamasu that much, to be honest.
Well, technically, Zamasu is Goku Black.
Yeah.
Although Goku Black does have that light grenade super, and when he does that,
summons like Zamasu, and
yeah.
Same with his special attack where he binds the opponent.
Yeah, Zamasu is present, so maybe they won't have Zamasu as a standalone character. Kind of the same as how they probably won't have 17 as a standalone character because he's a support character with 18. So,
yeah, like I really don't know what which 8 DLC characters I would want, because there's 3 there that are really good in Bardock, Broly,
and Cooler.
And Cooler. I'm sorry, I'm cracking open a granola bar, so I hope it's not coming through super hard.
And God help me if they put in more versions of Goku and Vegeta, because there were rumors swirling around before the game came out that there's a possibility for Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Instinct Vegeta to make their way into the game. And quite honestly, I don't think we need that.
No. Honestly, if there's going to be more Goku and Vegeta, give us base form Goku and Vegeta and make them fucking play different.
Or give them the ability to transform, you know?
That would be cool.
Like how Frieza does it.
Yeah. I was about to say, that would be a really good alternative. In certain Naruto fighting games, what happens is if you pick, you've got a team of 2 and you pick, Naruto and then, Nine-Tailed Fox Naruto, what happens is, regardless as to the order that you put them in, you start off the match as normal Naruto. He gets KO'd, and then you become Nine-Tailed Fox Naruto, and there's a little transformation sequence, instead of having, it come up as round 2.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool. I think it's on Clash of Ninja 2 for the Wii.
So now, what if fighters did the same thing? Like if you had both Gokus or both Vegetas on your team, they start out as Super Saiyan, and then the Super Saiyan gets KO'd, and then they have that little transformation and he turns blue. That would have been cool.
The only problem with that is that it kind of limits your tag-in potential. You can't really tag in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. But I think that would have been pretty cool anyway. It could have just added in if they let you tag in regardless. But say you get KO'd as Super Saiyan, but the blue Vegeta or blue Goku is still alive on your team with health, then they could go into that transformation anyway, and then just continue the fight. Oh, and by the way, what do you think of Android 21 as a whole, as a character? Personally, I enjoy the character myself.
I've played all of story mode. I think that her backstory is really good, and it fits really well in Dragon Ball canon. Like, it's now canon to me. You know, her hair looks vaguely red in a lot of the art that I've seen.
Right, but then...
Even though it's kind of brownish in game.
Yeah.
She's got glasses. I'm biased.
And
Man,
then she
redheads
has that...
with glasses, that's one way to get me to just be like, yep.
And then she has, like, the Majin type form where...
That's the only thing I don't really like about her is the Majin form.
I mean, because, I think she's, like, a character somewhat like Cell. How Cell was made up of, like, bits of every different character. How, like, Cell has, Piccolo's rejuvenation, and he's got, some of the Saiyan power in him, and that he can do the Kamehameha attack, and he gets stronger with each fight and stuff. It's like Android 21, I think, was like a bit of the same thing, because
it is, but
she gets stronger. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But like with Android 21, she gets stronger with every character that she turns into candy. She has a Frieza tail. She has the she's an android, but she has the look of a Majin and some Majin abilities. And what do you think of her as a character being the only character in the game to have two separate ultimate attacks?
I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, personally,
honestly, I don't really have an opinion.
I mean, personally, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, she had her ground ultimate is the candy, turning the opponent to candy and taking a bite, and she gets a little bit of health back. And her air ultimate was like a dodge move, and she would dodge into the character, and then she would just like attack them, going from side to side on the screen, and then finishing them off with like a blast. I thought it was pretty cool. Do you think it's possible that after the anime returns from hiatus, you think they add 21 into the actual story of the anime? Do you think she is just going to be a game-only character?
Man, I hope that she's not. Like, I hope she's added in.
Or do you think maybe we'll see her again in another game?
What I'm really hoping for is... Let me look at the BlazBlue release schedule, because I think it takes them 2 to 3 years to release BlazBlue. So, what I want this to become a recurring series of 2D fighters. I want Android 21 to become a canon character. And I know that sounds... Some people are going to fucking crucify me for that.
Oh, no, I would love to see her as a canon character. I think she's great. I love the character.
I think she's awesome. I just really don't like the Majin form. I think it looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you get past it after a while, especially when you're me and she's like a centerpiece of your team. So
that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I hope she's canon. I hope Dragon Ball FighterZ continues to be a thing that we get on on every 2 years or every 3 years.
I think that's fair. Kind of like how NetherRealm does Mortal Kombat, like every 4 years.
Yeah, and BlazBlue, I think, is every 2 years or 3 years. Or what they could do is, like, you got Dragon Ball FighterZ, but then you've got like Guilty Gear, for example. They've got like Guilty Gear XR Revelator, and then they've got like Rev 2, which is like an update, but it's like another installment because they added a bunch of new characters and stuff, including the DLC ones. But it's a new thing. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them do that in, say, a year or two. Right.
And given how it's taking Bandai Namco almost a year to put 2 guest characters into Tekken, I think FighterZ is going to get supported for at least a year or 2.
Oh, easy. Like, I think that the only... You know what my favorite thing about this game is? And we didn't really touch on it. It's just how well they, like, how much work they put into it.
Oh yeah, I think quite honestly, it's the best Dragon Ball game ever made.
Oh, easily. Like, I've sat and bitched and moaned about it as a fighting game, but I think it's the best Dragon Ball game I've played.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like, because I work, for those of you in our audience, I write for an anime, like a news site called Jotaku, on occasion. I was going to post most of my review stuff on that website, which I still am. And part of it, like, my intro was basically going to be, hey, if you gathered the Dragon Balls and wished for a Dragon Ball Z fighting game, you'd get this.
Yup.
Like, that's what you'd get. Like, the one thing that I like, it looks really good, it plays really good. Every single visual effect in this game is lifted straight from Dragon Ball, and most of the sound effects are.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. The game is beautiful.
Down to the point where when characters punch each other with their normal attacks, they will use moves that the similar movesets to what they use in the anime. Like, Yamcha's, like, handstand kick, that's something he does. Vegeta mostly fights with kicks and energy blasts.
Right.
So most of his moves are like, he's gonna run forward and fucking punch you with his knee. Like, shit like that really makes me happy.
And in the game, he has a lot of kick super, strike supers.
Yeah, it's great. Like, man, it's... everything about this is so good. Like, the only complaint that I have on the presentation side of things is that, like, maybe sometimes some of the stage BGM gets really repetitive. Like, I've heard West City probably 1,000 times now.
Right.
But all of the character themes are really good. Like, man, if you heard Hit's theme, it's so jazzy, it's perfect.
So, like, the attention to detail is there, but the gameplay itself could use a bit of polish.
And I think it's nothing that a patch won't fix. Like, if I had to suggest to somebody what game should they buy for, like, a fighting game in 2018, I've played Dissidia NT today. It's okay. I've played, you know, like Street Fighter 2 and all this other shit that came out last year. Get Dragon Ball FighterZ. If you're looking for a fighting game, get Dragon Ball FighterZ.
So the bottom line in this review, I'm going to give Dragon Ball FighterZ a B+. If you had to grade this game, or out of a 10, scale of 10, what would you give it?
You know what? I think I'd give it, like, right now, it's probably a 7.5 out of 10. Okay. Which isn't really, like, that bad, I don't think. But, like, if they patch it, it has the potential to be a 10. Right. All they have to do is fix the online stuff and maybe, like, give me the ability to turn off auto combos, and it's a 10.
Right, and that's why, like, you know, the whole, like, out of 10 scale is cliched. Like, you never hear people, like, giving a letter grade to a game review. So I think I'm going to start doing that now. So I'm going to give Dragon Ball FighterZ a B+, which to me, if I would rate it, I would say it's like an 8 out of 10. And yeah, like you said, if they patch it and they fix some of the problems the game has, it could easily be a perfect game. And perfect games are very rare to come by.
It's like I said, like, if you're thinking about buying this, what the fuck are you doing listening to us? Go out and buy the goddamn thing.
Yeah, you have to play this game. If you can only buy one game right now out of the next couple of months, out of all the games that are coming out, which there are other great games, don't get me wrong, but if you're looking for a fighting game, don't buy Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Don't go back and buy Tekken 7, as much as I love that game. Don't go back and buy, like, Mortal Kombat or something. If you want a fighting game, whether you're a Dragon Ball fan or not, you got to play this game at least once. You just have to. I think it's that great. Especially if you're a fan of Arc System Works games, I think you'll really enjoy it.
It's really good.
Because,
it's
as I said in my closed beta article that I wrote for Jotaku, I was not a fan of Arc System Works games, and I absolutely love this game. I picked it up, I learned how to play it, and I'm pretty damn decent at it.
As an aside, if you've played Dragon Ball FighterZ, and you want to get into fighting games even further, like the next step, go out and buy Guilty Gear Xrd Revelator or Rev 2. I think Rev 2 is cheaper right now.
Isn't that that's the newer version too, right?
Yeah, it's the newer version. It's cheaper, I think. Yeah, like it's the same basic thing as Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's a little bit more complex, but it's really good. And it's probably like, if Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best introduction to fighting games, then like Guilty Gear Xrd is the next natural step to becoming someone who's into fighting games.
So that's our review of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now that we've talked about the game and reviewed it for an hour, well, why don't we stick to Arc System Works and talk about, where the hell is it? Talk about the whole BlazBlue cross tag battle with their auto combo system and easier pick up and play functionality to the gameplay.
Good. Something I've already bitched about today.
I figured might as well keep up with this, the same kind of news.
Yeah, so basically it says here that, let's see here. I'm just briefly reading through it. So apparently they're focusing on simple commands and making it easier for beginners to pick up, so that fans of Ruby can jump in without being too intimidated, which is fair. They said that there are some small changes that might take getting used to. They have more simplified commands. So, for example, the Dragon Punch, or Shoryuken, is performed by pressing 2 buttons at the same time, similar to how Persona 4 Arena does it. While it's easier to execute, it may feel a bit off for BlazBlue veterans, as with some changes such as Ragnar's Inferno Divider or Jin's Reihyo being performed by pressing square and X at the same time instead of a regular Dragon, like Shoryuken movement. Now, that pisses me off. And the reason it pisses me off, there are a bunch of other changes, like, apparently you dash the moment you press forward instead of having to, like, double tap.
Right.
But that only applies to ground dashes, so whatever. The game has a new auto combo system called Smart Combo, where you can button mash square or triangle to pull off combos, which is something that Dragon Ball FighterZ already does.
I think they just pulled that straight from Fighters, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Like, I believe I mentioned recently how I was almost certain that FighterZ was kind of like their demo for some of the systems they were going to put in this.
You actually said that on last week's podcast, in episode 1. Or episode 4, part 1.
Jesus Christ. Give me the option for more fucking complex commands. Let me choose. I want the freedom to choose.
I think
The existence of these things does not piss me off. Like, I get it, right? Fighting games are really complex. Like, I remember someone somewhere put in an art installation that was like a 200-button video game, and I think it might have been like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or something. And people from the fighting game community were like, they saw that as a challenge. Like, that's how hardcore some people are.
Right.
But not everybody's like that. But, like, if I'm playing cross-tag battle and I want to have proper movement or whatever, for me, let my opponent choose if they want to use, like, the simplified commands or the auto combo or whatever. I want to be able to choose not to use that.
I mean, to be honest, I think you should be given the option, for the more hardcore players to play.
You are, though. That's the thing. Like, in BlazBlue, that's a thing that you toggle on. When you're in character select, you press, like, L1, and then it turns on stylish commands, which is basically this. Or, like, in Guilty Gear, I think you only have one auto combo that you can't turn off, but, like, it's not very good, and the damage is reduced. Like, there's ways to balance this shit that they've already used.
So you think this is a bit problematic in this new build?
You know the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
Exactly.
It wasn't broke, so they decided to, like, put on a new coat of paint, but it's like a really shitty coat of paint. Like, they didn't quite break it, but they made it look awful.
Well, personally, like, I don't really have an opinion in the BlazBlue games, because, like I said, I never played them, FighterZ being the first Arc System game. But do you think Dragon Ball FighterZ is part of the reason why they decided to do this in the new cross tag battle.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And like I get it, right? Like I said, I think that fighting games aren't very accessible, and they should be more accessible. Like, my roommate hates playing them. It's like, man, if I could get him into fighters, like, dude, we would have a blast.
Personally, I think if he tried it, he'd probably like it, because it's so simplified compared to other fighting games.
Yeah, but he's, like, so vehemently against fighting games, dude. Like, I got him drunk yesterday and tried to get him to play fighters with me.
He just wasn't having it.
He just doesn't want to have it. Like, he's just like, fuck it. Might as well start gathering those Dragon Balls now.
Well, the next thing I want to go over, and this was something that should have been in last week's episode 4, but I wasn't aware of it until after I did part 2. The legislative fight against loot boxes is starting to spread in the U.S. The government backlash against video game loot boxes, the randomized in-game item purchases that some observers and legislators consider a form of gambling, moved from Hawaii to Washington State earlier this month. So now there's 2 states in the U.S. fighting loot boxes. That's when a group of 3 Democratic state senators introduced a bill that would require the State Gambling Commission to examine loot boxes and determine whether games and apps containing these mechanisms are considered gambling under Washington state law. What the bill says is industry state sit down to figure out the best way to regulate this. Orcas Island Senator and bill co-author Kevin Ranker told the Tacoma News Tribune it is unacceptable to be targeting our children with predatory gambling masked in a game with dancing bonuses or something.
Dancing bunnies or something.
I'm sorry, dancing bunnies.
The bill text puts specific focus on the question of whether children who may be more vulnerable to gambling addiction should be allowed access to games with loot boxes, and on the question of transparency around the odds of receiving each type of virtual item, which, as an aside, is something China already does. The latter point took an additional salience last month as Apple required that such odds be posted alongside mobile games with loot boxes. However, actual government regulation in Washington is still far off. Ranker's bill needs to be approved by both the full state legislature, which is apparently narrowly held by Democrats, and then signed by the government. Then after that, the Gambling Commission has until December 1st to make any recommendations for how the state enforces this. Apparently, this is after Chris Lee had a major push to get these things super hard regulated or banned. He's been reaching out to other states to respond, and apparently Ranker appeared in a video with Chris Lee last month, alongside other legislators from Connecticut, North Carolina, Georgia, and Minnesota. So hopefully those states are going to follow suit really soon. Let's see, we need to start this conversation. We need to start it now, said Ranker. The State Gambling Commission previously dipped its toe into the gaming business back in 2016 when it sent Valve a letter seeking action against skin trading sites that let players wager using in-game cosmetics. Valve pushed back at the time, and the threatening letter doesn't appear to have led to any further government intervention in the intervening months. So basically, yeah, loot boxes are going to be regulated.
Quite honestly, I think loot boxes are a bit of a problem. And, it's not every game that has them, thank God. But I do see, publishers and the investors to these games are, some of them are pushing for these kinds of transactions. which is why like companies like EA have been really pushing for them lately. And you know of the big uproar that came up with Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Man, I almost bought that shit. Like, I fucking love Star Wars. To me, that's fucking predatory. Like, it's not so much that it is the way that it is. Like, to me, EA is a fucking shitty company. They're never going to change. But the real problem, to me as an adult, is not like, oh, are our children gambling? Because then it becomes a question of, like, if you as a parent are being irresponsible with your credit card and letting your kids have it, or leaving it in places where it's easy for your kids to access, you fucking deserve all the debt that gets racked up.
But at the same time, it shouldn't even have to come down to that either.
No, that's what I was about to get at. Is like, the way that I see it is that, like, in Canada we pay $91 for a video game at retail price. Like, a new PS4 game is $91 with tax included. If I'm paying $90 for a game, then I fucking well expect to get $90 worth and not be pestered or need to buy, like, more stuff.
Exactly. And if the option is there, make it purely cosmetic to the point where it's not going to affect the core gameplay itself.
Dragon Ball FighterZ does it. Guilty Gear does it.
Rocket
the City
League
of Final Fantasy does it in its own little way, and that's fine. Like, you know, like all these other games already have this shit figured out. Like, if it's cosmetic, I don't care, and if it's like minor shit like online titles, I don't care. Hell, you know what? If it's cosmetic, even have it be paid. I really don't care. I'm not gonna give a shit.
Right.
But if it's like core content that is on the disc, like, for example, for Battlefront 2, like, Darth Vader should not be locked behind a loot box.
You know, and it's the same as in Gears of War 4, when I first played that for the first time, and I was looking at the online features and how you create your character. It's based on a card system, like how Battlefront 2 kind of is. And the way you get your cards for your characters, you know, weapons and armor and stuff, is by buying, you know, in-game card packs, you know, which is basically like the loot box system. Like, why would you have your game be pay to win? Like, whoever pays the most money is going to have the higher chances of having the best equipment.
Here's the only way to do a loot box well. Is you make it all cosmetics. You can have it be purchasable if you want. I don't care. But you give people the option, emphasis on the word option, to use an in-game currency. Like, for example, if I was playing DB Fighters, and there's like premium Zenny, right? But you can only get them from buying, like, the normal crappy loot boxes, because they replace the items that you would have already gotten from rolling, like, your 10 or whatever.
Right.
If that was a paid currency, I wouldn't be mad. Because there's a way to get it anyway, and there's still a way to get the stuff from the loot boxes. Plus, the loot boxes themselves are cosmetic. Like, let people pay for it if they want. I don't care.
Right. You know, that's up to them, and it doesn't affect the game as a whole.
No. But then when you have stuff like Shadow of War, where the true ending is hidden behind loot boxes, that's bullshit. When you have stuff like Battlefront 2, like, entire characters are hidden behind loot boxes and require, like, hundreds of hours of grinding to get to, that's bullshit.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, like, stuff like that really aggravates me. And I'm glad to see that it's on its way out. But they're probably not gonna ban it. Because it's America. They don't care.
I think they're just gonna make it, like, in a way to, like, get around all the bullshit that, you know, is, you know, causing people to make it a big deal right now. There's gonna be a way they're gonna get around all that shit, so.
Oh, easy. Yeah, like, what I think's gonna happen is
They're probably going to make you post the odds of each item, like China does. They're probably going to restrict minors from buying games that have it. Like, the ESRB might end up having, like, a new thing that says, like, simulated gambling on their thing, and that's going to bump you up to an M rating or to, like, a T rating, depending on what it is. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
And I think that's fair. That's fairer. Like I can tell you this, right? If I was a kid, and my mom and dad, who are also really big fans of Star Wars, like my dad and I played like PS2 Battlefront 2 a lot growing up. If they saw that on the store shelves, they might buy it. They might not know that this is a thing that happens. Like, I think that people need to be warned of these things. At the very least. Like, they need to be able to know and be fully informed before they can make a decision. Like, yeah, I want to give EA my money. Or, no, I don't want to give EA my money. Which, as a personal recommendation, speaking as someone who wants to be a lawyer and as someone who just really hates EA, don't give EA your money.
And I hardly ever do. There's only one series I play from EA, and that's Need for Speed.
What is it? That's fair. Need for Speed's all right.
And it's a game series that comes out every 2 years. It's the only game I buy from them.
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Like, loot boxes suck.
They do, absolutely.
I'm not saying anything new here. Like, everybody knows loot boxes are terrible.
I've played plenty of gacha games, which pretty much have, like, that loot box aspect.
Yeah.
And I can only say that out of all the loot box / gacha games I've ever played, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, I think, is the most fair out there, because they give you a lot of ways to get really good cards to bolster your team so that you can actually enjoy the game without having to pay a lot for it.
Well, I found, I haven't played a lot of it, but even Fate Grand Order for, like, mobile phones, they'll give you, like, a free summon, I think, every day.
Yeah, see, some games
and there's
do
ways
that.
to grind up enough points to summon.
Right.
Like you can pay, or you can just grind, and the grinding's really fair. Like, I think there just needs to be, like, if you're gonna make people pay for it, there needs to be alternatives, and those alternatives need to be fair alternatives to dropping $20. Especially when it's random.
Right.
Yeah. So shall we move on to something else?
Well, speaking of EA, there's a big rumor going around right now that Microsoft may be looking to bolster their first-party roster of games by possibly acquiring publishers or developers such as EA, Valve, and or the PUBG maker Bluehole Studios. Microsoft is reportedly looking at making big acquisitions to bolster the Xbox first-party lineup. Polygon cites an anonymous source close to Microsoft in saying that the company is looking at acquiring Electronic Arts. Other whispers the site heard reveal that Microsoft looked at buying Valve, as well as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds developer Bluehole, after the studio's explosive success last year. Though this may seem like a wild speculation, it is important to know that these sorts of discussions happen all the time in the gaming industry. Microsoft can certainly afford these ventures, but it doesn't necessarily mean the only company looking at acquisitions of this scale. That said, Microsoft is more interested than anyone today to build its first-party portfolio and owning the studio's talent that come with the publisher. EA is one surefire way of doing that. So, what do you think about that? What do you think about Microsoft possibly buying EA and Valve and, companies like that? Something sort of similar like of what Nintendo did back in the day. How they acquired publishers and dev teams, and they only allowed them to work on games for their platform, and they couldn't work on games for any other platform.
I don't like it.
I really don't. I know, like, one of the major complaints that I have about the console wars is that a lot of the consoles are the same. Like, there aren't very many first-party titles on the PS4 and the Xbox One, other than, like, you know, Crash. But for the PS4, you've got, like, Bloodborne, Crash Bandicoot, you know, stuff like that.
Uncharted,
you know, that sort of shit is there. But in terms of, I don't want to see, like, big stuff. Like, if they acquire EA, that means they also acquire the rights to, like, Battlefield, right?
Yep, they'll acquire the rights to DICE, and
Yes, that sucks.
they'll acquire the rights to DICE, as well as, let me see, it's here in the article at the bottom. BioWare. There you go, BioWare.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, I also think that the Xbox already has a lot of first-person shooters and stuff like that. I really don't think that them making Battlefield, like, let's just use Battlefield as the example. I don't think that them buying EA and making, say, Battlefield a first-party title is going to do a lot for them. I don't think them buying EA and getting, you know, Need for Speed is going to do a lot for them, because they already have Forza Motorsport as a first-party title.
They have 2 Forza series as first-party titles.
Oh, really?
They have Forza Motorsport and they have Forza Horizon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, there's just... It just seems like a redundant move on Microsoft's part, other than the fact that, like, I guess now these games aren't going to be on Sony.
What you think possibly would persuade people to go out and buy Xboxes to continue playing those games?
Yeah, I think, you know what? I fucking hate first-person shooters. I really do. I'm not good at them. I don't enjoy them.
I'm not good at shooters, period, but I think I'm a little bit better at first-person because of, you know, the obvious.
See, when I play a first-person shooter, I'm that asshole who plays a sniper, because he's not good at anything else.
I hate snipers in any shooting game.
Most people do. Hey, buddy, how you doing? But what's that? You trying to go all the way across the map there? Yeah? Yeah, it'd be a shame if someone were to headshot you. What's that? You got headshotted from all the way across the map? Well, sorry, bud. You know, that's just what I'm doing. But, in all seriousness, I think FPSs it's a big industry. A lot of people will buy, you know, I don't think anybody's really going to buy a PS4 for the next Battlefield or Call of Duty. But, you know, they might start migrating over to Xbox if Xbox has the really good first-person shooters that they like.
And
like, I, for one, Battlefield's the only first-person shooter that I really like.
And what do you think of, like, if they acquired Valve, you know, what would happen to the Steam platform?
That honestly makes me want to die. Words cannot describe how cataclysmic it would be if Microsoft were to acquire Valve.
Because you think they would just, like, take the Steam platform and, like, fuse it with the Xbox Windows 10 platform? Like, somehow, and just, like, bolster the Microsoft Store side on the PC?
Pretty much. Like, the way I see it is, if Microsoft buys Valve and they get, you know, Steam as a result of that, what happens is Steam sales are no longer going to be nearly as good as what they are. They're going to exist.
Steam sales are great now, and they have sales like every other month too.
Exactly.
Big sales,
but they're not going to be nearly as good. Like, at the end of the day, Microsoft is a business. Like, they're not going to want that. They're probably going to change it.
Oh, exactly. I definitely think they'll change it. They'll probably...
On the bright side, though, like, what I do find interesting is that I think on Steam you can sign in with your PlayStation Network. You can't sign in with an Xbox account.
No.
What else was I going to say regarding this? Like, I just, it's the same thing, like, with the EA. If they were to buy EA, I don't necessarily think they'd rein in EA all that much. I think they'd rein them in enough. Like, Disney already gave EA a pretty good thrashing about Battlefront 2.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think Microsoft would really change much. I think the only thing that it really does if they buy these people
is piss
like,
people off.
it's gonna limit the competition.
And it's gonna piss people off.
Yeah.
Especially if Xbox acquires Steam and shuts it down. Or keeps it active but changes it a lot.
Yeah. And that's kind of... Look, there's only one situation that I've read, and I'm unnaturally biased. Like, I really fucking hate Microsoft as a company. I think they're the devil. Not just for Xbox, but for... Like, Windows is great, but Windows also has a lot of really unnecessary bells and whistles and gets even worse with each update. But, like, the only time I've ever seen Microsoft on the right side of an argument is this one time someone pointed out to me that the reason that there's no real, like, cross-platform play between, say, PS4 and PC, or PS4 and Xbox One, is because more often than not what happens is Sony doesn't want it.
Yeah, and that's actually been the case a lot lately, where Xbox is actually open to doing it, and, like, Sony's, like, saying, we don't want to expose our gamers to the likes of Xbox.
Which I think is complete bullshit. It's like, you're still going to buy it on PS4. It's like, if my friend has it on the Xbox One, let me play with them.
Right. Yep.
Still the same game.
It's just a different audience of people. Big fucking deal.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, speaking of PlayStation...
Oh, boy.
Last week we went over the free games with Xbox games with gold. This week, starting yesterday, I have here the list of the 7 games that will be free for the month of February across the current PlayStation platforms. And the list is as follows.
Exile's End for PlayStation Vita. Grand Kingdom for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. Knack for PlayStation 4. Mugen Soul Z for PlayStation 3. Rime for PlayStation 4. Spelunker HD for PlayStation 3. And Starblood Arena for PlayStation VR.
All February 2018 PlayStation Plus games can be claimed until the PlayStation Store updates on March 6, 2018. So, any of these games catch your interest?
Actually, yeah, a few of them have. So, I'm just gonna run through the list. I don't own a Vita anymore. Like I really want to, but I've never heard of Exile's End. Grand Kingdom, I've played the demo of. I really enjoyed it. It's a really interesting kind of, like... It's an RPG that relies almost on, like, kind of squad-esque tactics. Like, if you've ever played Soul Nomad by Nipponichi, it's kind of like that.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
It's really good. I would recommend it. Like, if you like Disgaea, you would like Soul Nomad.
Interesting. I might have to give that a shot now.
The writing in it's really good, too. Knack, I've heard is fucking terrible. I'm not going to touch it.
I've heard mixed reviews on that one, and that's actually one of the games that caught my eye. Just because the sequel's coming out this year.
Oh, I thought it was already out.
Or is it out already? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was already out. My bad. I'm going to look that up while we talk. So, I don't own a PS3, so I'm not going to get... Or a PSVR, so I'm not going to get Mugen Souls, I'm not going to get Spelunker, and I'm not going to get Starblood Arena. But my roommate was telling me that Rime is really, really good.
That one's also on the Switch, for anybody who cares.
Yeah, his thing was that it's like, you play through it, and it's like a very long experience, and then you play through it a second time, and then you never touch it again. Kind of like a Journey or Flower or any of those games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, Mugen Soul Z caught my eye, too. Also caught my attention. Because I have the prequel, Mugen Souls, on the PS3. And I didn't get to finish it because my PS3 overheated and died.
Yeah.
I did start a Let's Play of the original Mugen Souls on my YouTube channel. It's the first Let's Play I actually started, and so far the only one I haven't been able to finish. I have 20 parts played, like probably up to maybe the midway point of the story of the game. And I have been interested in the sequel, but because my console's dead and I have pretty much no way of getting another one, obviously I haven't finished the original and really have no way of playing the sequel.
Also, Knack 2 dropped last year.
Okay,
in September.
I thought it was out, but I wasn't totally sure.
Yeah.
Like, Knack is a series I've heard mixed reviews on. Some people really enjoy it, some people think it's bleh. I'm kind of on the fence. I kind of side with the people that think it's bleh.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Alright, so Ys 8 localization patch is now live for PS4 and PS Vita. It will come, the patch will come included for the Switch release.
So basically, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to summarize this because I feel pretty strongly about it in a positive way. And it's that Nipponichi released Ys 8, and I kind of like this series. Like, I've kind of had like a love-hate relationship with it for a while. I think they're fun, but they're kind of generic. Apparently Ys 8 dropped, and the localization was really, really bad. Gather round, children, I'll tell you the tale of Nipponichi and the shitty localization. It's the Harry Potter book that we never really got. But yeah, so they dropped this really bad localization, and people gave them a lot of shit for it. So Nipponichi is a company that actually likes their fans. So they're like, yeah, we can fix this. We can salvage it. Because you bought like this game for like $80. We the least we can do is give you a localization that's not terrible. So they did it. I mean, fuck, I don't know if it's good, but they did it. They did all the scripts, all of the item names, basically literally all of the text has been redone, and all of the dialogue has been re-recorded to fit this new text.
And it says, those of you on PS4 can download the patches 1.16 gigabytes. Meanwhile, the PS Vita version is also available for 279 megabytes. Those of you wondering about the PC release, NIS America recently delayed it to an undetermined date, so we'll have to wait a little longer for more information on that. So now that you think the new translation patch is out, do you think the game is finally worth giving a shot now, or?
I might get it. I don't know. I kind of like my history with Ys has been really spotty. It's been actually does the Ys is Falcom, right?
I don't know who it's...
Yeah, Ys is from Nihon Falcom. So I think that Falcom makes much better games than Ys. Like, The Legend of Heroes, like Trails in the Sky, Trails of Cold Steel, those are much better. But Ys is fun. Ys is like Ys 1 and 2, pretty rough. Ys 4, Ys 3 and 4, they re-released on PSP and PS Vita, respectively. Those are pretty good. Pretty good. I've never touched Ys 5. 6 and 7 are alright, and so I'm interested to see what 8 is like.
I'm curious to play it now that the patch is out. I think it's kind of like inclined. I'm kind of more inclined to picking it up now.
I tried the demo, and it's kind of like how do I don't know how to explain it. It's a pretty standard action RPG, I think. Like, it's fun, but I would try the demo before you decide whether you want to get it or not.
So here's a game you're probably not going to give two fucks about.
Tekken Mobile?
Tekken Mobile has been announced is a Mobile game, Tekken Mobile will first appear in Africa, Eastern Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and Southeast Asia on February 1st, so that's already out in those countries. On February 15th, 2018, so just in 2 weeks, it will launch in Austria, Benelux, I probably pronounced that wrong, France, Germany, Italy, Singapore, Spain, Switzerland, and the UK. Finally, it will come to Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and the United States on March 1st. New character Rodeo is introduced in a video game trailer here, and for the sake of copyright, I can't show you that, unfortunately. It says, Bo Rodeo Montana is a former all-state football champion and U.S. Marine. While on a secret mission, Rodeo and his unit was ambushed by the Revenant, draining his and all the comrades' physical strength and training. In order to save the comrades, he must defeat Revenant and recover his powers. Rodeo features long reach and massive HP, with a fighting style comprised of military technique mixed with MMA training. Although he is a new character to the Tekken franchise, he is a driven, loyal fighter whose training and fight style rival the most powerful existing fighters. Tekken Mobile will be available on Android and Apple iOS devices.
Christ, that character is so American, he makes me want to go out and, like, eat McDonald's and pay for healthcare.
So apparently it's going to be like a mobile fighting game. I'm slightly interested. I'm slightly interested in how that'll work. Although games like Mortal Kombat X Mobile, it's just one of those tap the screen kind of games, and every time you tap the screen, the game just does the fighting for you.
That's really lame.
I think that's gonna probably be how this one is. Now I'm curious to know now if Bo Montana, will end up showing up in Tekken 7.
He just comes in, he punches Heihachi in the jaw, makes a crack about how he doesn't understand him because the only language that he can speak is American. Not English, American.
American.
His trailer starts and it's like all you hear is like a bald eagle. But it's fun fact, apparently when they use like a bald eagle cry in movies, that's not a bald eagle. It's like a hawk or a falcon. Because the bald eagle doesn't sound that menacing.
So here's something interesting that I came across. Super Retro Maker developers talk about giving players the tools to make 80s style side-scrolling games. Why don't you take the lead on this one?
Alright, so Super Retro Maker aims to give players the ability to make stages straight out of 80s side-scrollers like Mega Man, Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden. Offering a variety of visual styles, enemies, playable characters, and more, the game means to help players create their own intricate stages without requiring complex programming knowledge. So they spoke to the developers, and let's see here. The internal tools, though. Looking at this, because it's a pretty long article. I think that we should probably link it in the description.
Right, yeah, I'll do that.
Just because, like, us reading this is going to take forever, and I'm skimming it right now, and it's still taking forever.
Yeah, it's one of those Q&A type interview things.
Like, apparently what they're going to do is they're going to have, like, the actual you make stuff, but they're also going to have a campaign for people who want, like, a traditional game experience, which I think is really neat. And I also think that, this has the potential to be huge.
I think it could be really cool, to be honest. I love side-scrolling platformers, side-scrolling beat-em-ups. I do go back to a game like that every once in a while, to sit down and enjoy it, just to get away from all the 3D bullshit that we get every year.
Yeah. What this reminds me of is, like, if you've ever heard of... I can't remember its exact name, but it's like Super Mario Remix or something. And what it is, it's you... Because we have Mario Maker, and obviously that's the first thing that's going to come to people's minds.
We have Lunar Magic
Mario
as
Maker.
well.
But what I'm picturing is like... there's this game called Super Mario Remix, and it's like a Flash game. But it's all of the original 8 worlds from Mario 1, but it's other classic Nintendo characters. Like, you've still got like Mario and Luigi, but then you've got like Mega Man, Simon Belmont, Samus, like the tank from Master Blaster, shit like that.
Oh, you're talking about Super Mario Crossover.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, I've played it.
So what I'm picturing is like people are going to start making stuff kind of like that, and that really makes me happy. Where you get like, this level's kind of like Mario-esque, but then you're playing it as like a Mega Man style character instead.
Right.
Stuff like that.
I'm certainly interested. I think I'm gonna, keep an eye on the development of this. And
Definitely.
I wonder if it's gonna be a software kind of like RPG Maker, where it's like a paid software, where you can buy it and you can design your own games and put them out there, like the indies do. Or if it's just gonna be something free you can download and just fuck around with.
Yeah, I hope so. Apparently, they say that it's the basics. What they've done is they've taken kind of like Super Mario Maker stuff for the basic stuff, and then they want to be able to support like Metroidvania style gameplay as well.
Well, folks, I think it's time for the main event.
Oh God! Okay.
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition for iOS and Android launching February 9th. Take it away, my friend.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I've been waiting for this all episode. My vitriol for Final Fantasy 15 gets more and more legendary with every installment that we have on this podcast. Like, why? Just fucking why, okay? Like, here's the thing. We got Final Fantasy 15. It was incomplete and it was really good looking. It was really intriguing. It was just kind of like really incomplete. Then they patched it and put some new cutscenes and stuff in. But the game still feels incomplete and shittily paced. Like, they fixed it, but they fixed it like if I was to take my bathroom mirror and shatter it into 1,000 pieces and then started to glue it back on one by one, it's like, yeah, you know what? Eventually it's going to start to look like a better bathroom mirror than, the broken mess that I just made. But it's not going to look like a complete mirror now, is it? It's never going to be whole again. Then we got, like, the PC version and the Royal Edition, both of which, to me, are, like, this is stuff that should have been in the game in the first place, and as well as the fact that both of them are just fucking glorified season passes. And then there's this. And then there's this.
And I'm sure you're going to have to pay for this shit, too.
$20 the last time I checked. I looked this up before we started, because I wanted to bitch and moan. So, basically, what it is, the character sprites look kind of like Theatrhythm, which is a rhythm game that they made, and that's okay. I think that really works for iOS. I think they're unique, and they look a little weird, but they look kind of cutesy as well.
It's supposed to be like a chibi art style.
Kinda, yeah. It's just kind of like... It's almost like the Murdochans from Abe's Odyssey for the PS1. It's like they all look kind of cute, but they're also kind of like a little bit unnerving as well because of how they're designed. The appearance of it looks fine. Visually it looks okay. I'm currently watching the reveal trailer because there's some stuff I wanted to bitch about, but I want to make sure that I actually get it accurate.
Oh, while you watch that real quick, I'll just run
down. Apparently all of the dialogue is there and voice acted in like the same way that it is in the game. But the way that it handles, fighting and Chocobo from the screenshots that I've seen elsewhere is that it's the usual, you tap to attack. You tap, like, there's, like, a button on screen that's, like, that has, like, a sword on it, and you use that to attack your enemy.
Right. It's kind of, like, lazy.
It's just fucking stupid. And I know what they're gonna do. I can fucking guarantee you this is what's gonna happen, is if they want it to be really scummy, and it's Square Enix, and, they've already released fucking 4 versions of this shit. Oh my god. I think I just had like I think I just had an aneurysm. Dear God. Like, they've released 4 versions of this and they still can't get it right. But like, what they could do if they really wanted to be really scummy is you get Pocket Edition and you get like all the character DLC where it's like, oh, now Gladiolus is doing his thing, like you go play as Gladio for a bit. That's fine. But then what they'll do is they'll have either those character episodes, which are still DLC, which is whatever, or when you have to refill the car, you can only travel a set number of times per day, and you have to pay microtransactions to gas up the car.
Oh my god, like the fucking car.
I will give you $20, 20 Canadian dollars. That's a whole 35 cents US. I will give you 35 US cents if that is not a thing that's in this.
Dude, like the fucking car runs on your fucking stamina, and when your shit runs out, it's like refill your stamina for $4.99.
Yeah, every time that you get one of the Royal Arms, it's like you can't use it until you unlock it for $5. You get to Chapter 12, and Chapter 12 in Final Fantasy 15 is like this really long, just terribly paced, like it's an hour and a half of just bullshit. You get to Chapter 12, you have to pay to unlock the ending chapter. Like, sweet fuck, why? Who thought this was a good idea?
So, just to skim through the article real quick, based on the information shown in the Google Play and the App Store, where the game is currently available for pre-register, it says, and I quote, "Explore the world of Final Fantasy 15 with a cast of cute and cool characters. Now you can enjoy the Final Fantasy 15 story across 10 exciting chapters. Tap to move, tap to talk, and tap to fight. Tap, 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 tap. Easy for anyone to pick up and play. The tale of the chosen king, savior to the state, after years of fighting the nation of Lucius and Niflheim," I probably butchered the names of that, "at last agree to an armistice. As a symbol of the promised peace, Noctis, crown prince of Lucius, is to wed the lady Lunafreya of Tenebrae. The prince sets forth for his wedding on the eve of the signing ceremony, sent off by his father, King Regis, or Regis. Unbeknownst to Noctis... Regis Philbin, oh god. Who wants to be a millionaire?
Who wants to be a Final Fantasy character?
Unbeknownst to Noctis, however, the journey ahead is fraught with perils. You can also check out the English field trailer below. Again, for copyright reasons, we can't show any of that. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition releases for iOS and Android February 9th, 2018, with a Windows 10 version releasing later.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I've got another series of new assholes I gotta tear this thing before we move on.
Well, this is the last article for the night, so.
Oh, thank God. So I get to just fucking lay into this until its battered and broken body lays before me.
Go to fucking town.
Okay, first and foremost, I would like to point out that they don't mention that Niflheim is an empire. Now, the reason I'm saying that is, like, I don't fucking care. But, listen, when something is the whatever empire in a JRPG, they're always the bad guy. They're never on the right side of history. They're always evil. Like you don't hear the Empire in a JRPG and you go, man, those Empire guys, they're really stand up. Like, I really like them. Like, fuck me, right? So I think that what they kind of did was they're really not portraying the story in the way that it is, where it's like, oh, they're the Empire and they're super evil and, you know, this shit happened. Some stuff happens really early on. It's like, yeah, this Empire is fucking evil. Like, but whatever. You know, that's a nitpick. I just really hate Final Fantasy 15. The thing that I will give it, though, like, it looks nice. Like, it looks cute. It looks like it will look good on a phone. However, I think that importing this game to mobile, you lose the very few things that are good about it. Like, the fun stuff about Final Fantasy 15 is that, you know, you're on what is essentially a glorified road trip. You stop, you stop for the night, you see the sights, you fight monsters, you know, typical Japanese road trip stuff. You know, you go from Saitama to Hokkaido or whatever. You go from Saitama and to Kyushu. You know, like the top of Japan to the bottom of Japan. You know, you fight some monsters along the way. You hang out with your friends. You listen to Final Fantasy music. That shit.
And you get your phone dirty along the way because all you're doing is constantly tapping on the motherfucker.
Yeah. but like, I think that part of it is, like, the exploration of the world is such a big deal that if this isn't handled very well, which I think because it's on a phone you really can't, then, you know, like, you lose a lot of the aspects that make Final Fantasy 15 good. Like, well, not good, but you lose the good aspects of Final Fantasy 15. Also, I would just like to point out that, my God, once again, who thought this was a good idea?
Square Enix did, apparently.
Like, if you're gonna make Final Fantasy 15 for iOS, right? What I would have liked to see, and this is me speaking as the person that I am, so whatever. You know, you can have your opinion, I'll have mine if it varies, but give us Final Fantasy 15 for consoles and have it be like the vaguely Kingdom Hearts-esque, like the action RPG that we got, with the open world and all that fun stuff. But then, to correct that issue, what you have instead is on the not the issue of it, but on the iOS and mobile and like other portable versions, you have it as a traditional turn-based RPG.
Yeah, I could understand that.
Yeah, like, I could get behind that shit, but that requires effort. This doesn't.
Right. Well, that being said, I think we nailed it for today. I mean, God, man, that 1 hour Dragon Ball FighterZ review. I said this was going to be...
Let's go gather the Dragon Balls. I don't want to wish for immortality. I don't want to wish for Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. I just want to wish for Final Fantasy 15 to not exist.
Yeah, let's wish for Final Fantasy 15 to go away.
Yeah, that would be nice. It's like, you know how people, like, stereotype Call of Duty as, like, oh, it comes out, like, every year? Final Fantasy 15 is coming out, like, every 6 fucking months.
Right? And it's like plaguing everything.
Oh my God.
Well, I think we nailed it pretty good today. That 1 hour Dragon Ball FighterZ review was
definitely
a little unexpected. I didn't expect to go an hour with that review, but fuck it. It certainly extended the podcast because I initially told you off air that I was going to make this a shorter episode on purpose. Turns out we went a little over 2 hours. So this is the longest podcast we've ever done. Episode 5, Part 2 is going to be all Nintendo news, folks. All Nintendo news. We're going to talk about another mobile game coming within the coming year. We're going to talk about the Nintendo shareholders meeting and the few announcements Nintendo has made during that meeting. We are also going to talk about the continued success of the Nintendo Switch and some of the Switch library. And, that's only part of it, man. We're also going to talk a little bit more about Nintendo Labo. So come on back for episode 5, part number 2. That'll most likely be up on Sunday. Until then, for Cypher, my name is The Rose. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media in the description down below. And until next time, we'll catch your ass down the road.